How are we, Insomnia? Are we good? Make some noise. Before we begin, is Bryony Knock here? She's the girl who asked a question during the Septic Eye Q&A. She's left a book on the stage. Bryony, are you here? No? Okay. Well, if anyone knows Bryony, maybe speak to somebody in production and we'll try and get it back to her.
We'll look after that. So you guys are here for the Nintendo UK Super Mario Maker Masterclass. So we're going to break it open. We got some tips from the guys who run the game. It doesn't get any more in depth than this, I don't think. We saw obviously Dante the M earlier. He was playing some pretty devious levels, but where did those levels come from? Well, we've got a friend from Nintendo. It's James, and he's the community manager. Please welcome him on stage. There we go. James, so you are the Nintendo UK community manager. You've been working on Mario Maker for a long time.
Yeah. We obviously we got it early this year. It came out early this year, and ever since it came out, I've just been constantly making, constantly refining how to make levels. I mean, actually at one point, I had to make a level that got played by Shigeru Miyamoto, which was the most terrifying thing in my life. Like making a level knowing that the daddy of Mario is going to play this.
Wow,
one.
yeah.
That was, and he liked it, and I was like, But yeah, we've been playing this game a lot, refining how we make levels, and especially on Nintendo UK on our Twitch streams, we've been doing a lot with that. So we had Playtonic Games, the guys that make Ukulele, came in and gave us some tips. We had Charles Martinet adding his voice to some levels. So we've been doing a lot, and so I think I've come up with like my five golden rules that I try and adhere to every time I'm making a level.
Okay, well, you're not alone, are you? You've got some friends with you.
No, I've got a friend coming up with me. Yeah.
Do you want to bring them on? We've got In the Little Woods, and is Mini Lad there as well? Is he coming up?
Join us on the couch, guys.
Okay.
Take a seat.
Good.
So, do we have any Mario Maker fans in the audience?
Lots of them.
Great stuff. It's a superb game, superb title. You can have so much fun with this game. It's limitless, really, in terms of content. Listen, what have you played the game? Obviously, you enjoyed it.
I've been playing this a lot. Yeah. I've been uploading a video on it almost every day since the game released.
Right.
And I've yet to. There's a challenge called the 100 Mario Challenge. 100 lives, 16 courses, and I've yet to complete 16 courses in one sitting.
Right.
I've gotten 2 course 16, but that's my best.
Is that just on medium or on hard?
No, that's expert.
That's expert. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Expert's pretty disastrous in terms of levels on there. So this will be a masterclass, so I get better levels.
Right, okay, so you've been getting a lot of mileage out of this game then?
Yeah, big time, yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, so knock yourself out.
Take it away, James.
Yeah, so obviously you spoke there about the expert challenge.
Yeah.
Now expert comes up with some really fiendish levels.
Yeah, they're pretty brutal.
And I think one thing I should say before we start is we're here talking about tips and tricks to help you hopefully make levels that players really enjoy.
Yes.
And a lot of those expert levels you come across. Sometimes
I take 2/3 of the video away because it's me just going, who made this? And left with whatever's left.
Yeah, so free tip, this is one of my golden rules, but free tip. Don't put enemies like around here.
Yeah.
So that when you start, you just walk into them, because that's an immediate skip. That's that's a free tip. That's not one of my golden rules. Anyway, yeah. So serious talk. So the first thing you should always think about when you're making a Mario Maker level, and this seems really obvious, have an idea of what you want to do. Now, I'm a gameplay kind of guy first, so I will always tend to think enemies. Maybe I want a level that's all about booze, like booze chasing you on a haunted roller coaster. Maybe I've made an entire level which is Lakitu just dropping things on you and you have to like dash between things. Maybe you want to, think more outside the box. Maybe you want an underwater level about swimming through a gigantic fish skeleton.
So you're saying have a concept, have a theme.
Have a real good theme.
A basis.
In your head. So for this level that we're going to finish here today and Martin's going to play, it's winter. So I was thinking ice, sliding, And so we've got Slip Slide Mine.
Oh, you would choose an ice level.
Working
They're the worst.
I don't care if this is the winter season. Ice is awful.
Ice is awful. In any game, nobody wants to see ice ever.
Water levels and ice levels, no go.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Why you should make them, because then you're unique.
I mean, talking of Nintendo, for example, everybody loves the water level in Ocarina of Time, Zelda. I hate it. I hate that level.
The water
It's
temple?
a dungeon. Yeah.
Oh.
Where's your not? Who loves it?
I know loads of people that love it. I'm like, no, it's the worst one ever.
That's some revisionist opinion.
Yeah, we've digressed. But anyway, so go on.
So once you've got your idea, that's golden rule number 1. Golden rule number 2 is try and limit the objects that you're going to use for your level, your idea. Because if you use too many objects, you might end up with a scene looking something like this.
Wow.
What is that?
This is not the sort of thing you want a player to run into, because
No.
suddenly their mind's got to think, I've got booze, I've got fire, I've got Goombas, I've got a homing cannon, I've got a wiggler, and the thing that they can't even see.
It's like someone's done a Mario Maker spew. They've just vomited Mario Maker. There's too much.
Players shouldn't try and have to think of too much, because every time a player plays a level, they're going to be playing it completely fresh. And their mind has to try and think, okay, I've got to deal with this ice. I'm going to be slipping. And then so maybe I want to have moles, so they have to think, okay, they move in a specific way. The more things you add, the more that stacks up in a person's mind. So try and limit your tool set. That is tip number 2. And for tip number 3, I think you should probably start having a little play of this level. Can you just hit minus?
Oh yeah, hold on a second. It's syncing up.
Oh,
We've got to hit the little button.
We're going to need to do a little bit of tech syncing up. So golden rule number 3 is all to do with how the level flows. So
Is that sync?
So what you don't want is a level that hits the player straight away with a challenge.
There we go.
Yeah, because you're right. Every good Mario level eases you in, doesn't it? No matter how difficult the level is, there's a calm before the storm every time. Yeah.
And so in a way, you want to introduce your core idea in a way that the player isn't even in any danger. So here we have Martin. He's got the ice. He can play around on it. He's not in any danger at this point. There are no enemies to hurt him. He can just slip around, get used to the physics. And then here again, he's just pushed around.
Oh, is he going to come for? I don't think he's going to chase me.
And in fact, the moles were there, but they couldn't attack him.
Oh no.
And so here we've slightly upped the ante. We've given him the ice still, but the moles are up.
Nice move, my
Very
friend.
good moves.
Little duck.
So Martin now has to deal with the moles. Fortunately, he's left them behind. And again, here we have essentially the same challenge as before with the ice, but we've added in the buzzsaws. So now Martin has to...
So we're peeling away, we're adding layers to the level.
You're adding layers constantly.
Oh.
Can you get the one up? Oh, you haven't gone fast enough.
Am I going to be fast enough to get through there?
Yeah, you need to duck and then jump.
Do a short hop.
I see.
Do a short hop.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, I see, and I had a chance to get that.
You could have got the one up if you were fast enough.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I completely missed that. Oh, checkpoint! You are my hero.
So that, as you saw there, we introduced the ice, then we introduced the moles and how they worked, but we slowly built that challenge up.
There's like an arc to it.
There was nothing too overwhelming.
And here,
There was nothing there.
and here we have an unbuilt level.
Look at that, like, onion tracking.
I like that.
So we should. So the reason I put the checkpoint here is because we've gone through the learning process. You've learned the core mechanics I wanted you to learn in my level. You've learned it's got moles, the Monty moles. You've learned it's going to have the saws. So now, where we are in the level is where we would probably build the crescendo point, where it's the biggest challenge, because that's fun. You want to make the player feel smart.
Yeah.
That's the absolute mission goal of any game.
Make them feel like they
designer.
figured it
Make
out.
the player feel like they're the one that solved everything. And yeah, so we will be making it just after I give tip number 4, because this tip is very important when we actually start drawing. Sorry, technical issues. So tip number 4 is play like the player. So when you're looking at the level. Sorry, apologies.
Oh, we've lost sync again. Oh, no.
We've lost sync.
The controller's working, but this thing has died.
Can you move me back? So when you're designing an area, so this is a really good example of it back
Oh,
here.
yeah, back on.
These moles are visible when the player is down here. So the player is always aware of everything that is happening within the level, and they're never getting any nasty surprises. Like a bad idea is to put a thwomp off screen, and then the player runs along and it stomps them. Because
Or a good idea, depending how fiendish you'd like to be.
Yeah.
as a designer, you are finding that fun, but as a player,
It's just rude.
it's rude, it's frustrating, and it's not that great. And the fifth golden rule, just before we do the designing, was actually experienced by yourself here, which I'm a big fan of rewarding skillful play rather than punishing less skilled play. So, for example, here with the one-up, it's all about getting through here quickly, and I failed. But it's about getting up there and getting that quickly.
You're not going to be rewarded now.
I'm not going to be rewarded,
No,
rather
neither was I,
than
so don't worry.
punishing players that don't know what they're doing. So, bearing those 5 rules in mind, if the gamepad decides to be nice, we will design the rest of the level for Martin to play.
Okay.
Would you guys want to get involved with that?
Yeah. Be kind. Be kind.
So are we going to take some suggestions from our audience members? That'll be fun.
So obviously we're sticking with our theme, we're sticking with our ice, and we want to do some buzzsaws and some Monty Moles. But what should Martin have to tackle first? What do we prefer? Do we prefer
What do we think, guys?
a line of buzzsaws, or do you want like a train of Monty Moles chasing after?
What do we think, guys? Moles or saws? Pretty unanimous.
That was like
moles.
99% moles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Moles.
A lot of love for the moles.
What wonderful moles, Monty Moles. Now, is it lots and lots of small Monty Moles or large
Small or large?
Goliath Monty Moles?
Sorry? Small. We're going large.
Come on.
Going,
We're going large for an extra 99p.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I love that you drag the mushroom like as an actual object onto them.
that's really
Right.
fun, yeah, where you have it and you place it on the Monty Mole to make him bigger.
When they gave him... Oh, okay, you
I'll
rejected
get
it.
bigger. That's as big as you can have your Monty
I couldn't do
Mole.
with a double grown.
You could make a pyramid of Monty Moles if you really wanted to.
And for those that haven't played Mario Maker, it's a very intuitive system, isn't it? It's very easy to get to grips with.
Yeah, it's all tapping and dragging. As you saw then, to make the Monty Mole big, we put the power mushroom on it, which is really fun, which is a really fun way to build your level. So,
I think for me, the way that I found it so easy to create levels is because there is that kind of wireframe grid. Like
Yeah.
When you kind of got that like kind of block by block basis to work on top of.
Sure, you feel like you're slotting them in, I
Exactly,
guess.
yeah, you're filling in the gaps.
And also as well, though, I mean, the Mario games are so well designed anyway that I think people that have played them instinctively know how to kind of begin constructing a level just based on previous games.
They know the capabilities and kind of the physics and the bounds that the game already has. I mean, it changes ever so slightly depending on which of the 4 aesthetics you're using, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's pretty familiar across all of them.
Well, I think the main feedback as well that came off the release of Mario Maker was that people realised just how clever Nintendo are at designing these levels, because when you get the chance to do it yourself, you realise just how good those guys are.
The amount of thought that goes into it.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched a really interesting video where they explained the very first Mario game, World 1-1.
I saw that,
And you
yeah.
see the storyboards and the sketches, and you look at it, and that's like 20 plus hours
Yeah.
just to go into what is essentially a 2-minute experience.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
Fascinating. I mean, I'm a Nintendo fanboy, so
Yeah.
I could talk about this all day. But they really do make a different class of video game,
Yeah.
I think. They really do.
how many levels have you made yourself?
Me, I've made 4 actually, and it's actually all based on old retro games, except for one. One was based on Flappy Bird, so I made that one. I made a Space Invaders level.
Does that scare you?
Not so much. I think once you start moving it probably will. If you like move to the left, or they start charging, Oh, yeah, they will. Oh. Oh, no.
I think you know, you sort of play like Mario Galaxy or something, and you see some of those levels with that physics, and you think, what mind?
I mean, the 2D is mind-blowing, the 3D is even more so. It's just absolutely crazy. Like, Mario Sunshine is probably one of my favorite platformers ever.
Yeah.
Really, really like that game.
I think quite a good comparison is Pixar in terms of their films.
Yeah.
You know, Nintendo create these worlds that just, the imagination of them is just unbelievable. You know, the places that it takes you is fantastic. And then, as a bonus on top of that, you get an amazing game as well. The gameplay is just unbelievable. So,
it's just a really, like, kind of enchanting experience through and through, isn't it?
Yeah, fully agreed.
Oh, this looks really scary.
And the Wii U is my plan.
It's not going to be too scary because we don't have too long. I've spent like 5 hours building levels in the past.
Right, okay.
Like, real like in-depth like machinations.
The levels that I created of like based on retro games, I only had 15 minutes to do them, like an actual clock timer. And it was really fun. Like the Space Invaders one I made a load of Space Invaders, like the actual aliens, just out of regular terrain blocks. And then essentially you had to stand on a platform as it moved and snaked through them.
Yep.
But all of the Space Invaders were absolutely littered in cannonballs. So you're essentially having to move yourself on the platform to not get hit by these cannonballs as you're going through. So it gives you that kind of familiar feel of the aliens shooting down at those bases.
That's clever. Yeah, I like that.
I was really proud of that level.
Well, what's interesting about Mario Maker is the fact that you're not allowed to submit your level, are you, to the game, to the leaderboard, unless you've done it yourself.
Yeah.
You can't create an impossible level and then stick it on there for someone to play.
You do have to beat it, but the one thing I will say about that, I'm just seeing how this behaves right now. Moles kind of get a bit stuck.
I'm going to have to damage boost through.
I need to fix that, Moles. But even if you can finish your level, it's still worth distancing yourself or getting someone you know, like a family member or a friend, to play the level.
That's very true, yeah, because you know it like the back of your hand. You designed it.
You know it, and when you know it, it's always easier than you think it is. And so you always know your logic.
Yeah.
And that's why it's always a good idea to use coins or to use arrows to guide a player.
Sure.
So a really good example.
They're like mini signposts, yeah.
Yeah, so a good example of that might be no player is going to know what to do here because
hold up a little
I made the level, so I know if I do this, it's cool. It's fine. But a good thing to do as a designer, if you want to try and encourage the player to...
Let's have a really, really satisfying line of coins, because you can't beat a Mario Leap when you just line up and you get every coin. Let's have it.
I'll place it as soon as I can.
One of the scarier levels I played was you had to do a real sprint, and you had to hold right and not let go, and you go through this massive trail of coins, and you land on a spring pad at the bottom, and then there are spring pads that are like flying along, and you have to go across them afterwards.
Wow.
But you have to have faith that the level designer isn't just going to drop you into the lava at the end of the trail.
Ah, yeah.
It's like an unspoken rule in like...
Oh, that felt good.
And then lovely smiley faces. Also, but while that's a really nice thing to do, please don't draw lines of coins, don't abuse the power of the coins. Don't draw lines of them into pits.
Sure.
Because that's never a nice thing.
No.
But coins are a really good underused thing that you can use as a designer to inform a player of an idea that you want them to try and achieve.
And what is the most ingenious use of Mario Maker that you've seen? Something that was kind of unprecedented. You didn't even believe that somebody would come up with this idea.
So I played a level just the other day, which used munchers and bullet build cannons to blow up bombs, like in front of you.
Right.
So it was really clever. I'll try and recreate it slightly here. So it had that, and then it would have, say, I'll need to draw the track afterwards. So it would have like a bomb, and it would be big, not a Goomba, it would be big. And then that would be encased in something, stopping Mario from progressing. But then this would be passing through it.
Oh, I see. So you'd be on a platform going up towards it.
No, so there would be a cannon, like maybe it's a homing cannon on there. Your path would be sort of like this.
I see, and you have
And then
to
the
guide
roof
it
would be
into.
there. Well, things, it moves automatically.
Oh no, I meant the bullet bill. Or would that automatically shoot right away into there?
The bullet bill will shoot, but that's what surprised me about it was it wasn't the bullet that blew up the bomb. It was the blaster itself.
Oh, okay. So when it makes contact.
So if this does work, so I've given myself a challenge of having to avoid the bullets. And then it blew it up, and that meant I could pass through. So it was like,
I see.
I had no idea that was a thing.
that was really smart. So take that away and make a really good level with that.
It's quite a cool thing to know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen things like wedding proposals. We've seen all sorts in Mario Maker, haven't we?
Absolutely. I mean, because you know when you have the power of coins, you can do whatever you want. You can spell out I-56.
Nice.
The guys here. you can write what you want. And I did a level recently for someone's birthday where I gave them a little puzzle, and then it was a roller coaster, and it played Happy Birthday with the music notes. So it's
Oh,
like,
wow, that must have taken some time.
it took about 2 hours.
Right, yeah.
But it's like the game does have all of those little ways you can play around with it. You
Yeah.
can use it as a music creator. You can use it as more of a puzzle game. You can make stupidly hard platforming levels like I'm sure your fans give you all the time.
What
Yeah.
about you, Little Wood? What's the most kind of original take on Mario Maker you've seen?
I think probably one of my favorite ones is it's made by another YouTuber called Seth Bling. And it was essentially, like he had an entire backstory to this level where you go through the pipe and suddenly you're just thrown onto what is essentially like a spaceship. So you've kind of got the dotted background. I think it's from the Mario World underground aesthetic where you've got all the stars. And there are thrusters, there are cannons going. And the whole story behind the level is there are these two huge warships in space that are at war and they're firing at each other.
And you're in the middle of it.
And you're just in the middle of it, just trying to get from one side to the other.
I like that.
And you've got 20 different ways you could scale up or down or through or under.
That sounds great.
And it's just so atmospheric.
Yeah,
And that's,
I love that.
I like levels with atmosphere. So, you know, like this cave, the ice is very consistent.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a sucker for any airship levels as well.
Oh,
Even though I'm not a
I
fan
love
of
and hate 'em.
the swaying of the
Yeah.
airship. That's the worst thing, is when the platform is on the absolute bottom floor of the world.
Yeah.
You never know when to walk because you have to wait to see if it drops down and there's actually blocks to be, you know, run across.
the Mario 3 airships were just insane towards
There
the
are
end.
so many in this game. Like, there are some brilliant ones that people have made.
We saw one earlier. We saw a ghost house that was a puzzle, and we saw someone had done a Metroid level. I love that creativity. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great example, actually, what you talked about, where you reveal certain layers to the player. The one that you played was very much like that, wasn't it, Matt?
yeah, you have to upgrade your suit like you do in Metroid, but
Oh, wow.
bit
Yeah,
by
because
bit.
in Metroid, that's a really good organic way of doing it, because especially in a Metroid level where you can show the player where they're going to go,
Yeah.
but you haven't got the power up yet.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You've gone the wrong way, but now you know what you need to get when you come back. It's like
I see.
brilliant.
It's Metroidvania, that's what they like to call it, don't they?
Oh, God. That's a coming together of worlds, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they say,
brilliant.
yeah, because Castlevania did it quite well as well.
Yeah,
So
from Symphony
they call
of
them
the Night to Castlevania
Metroidvania
games,
style games, yeah.
You can make some really good Crashomania levels if you actually had staircases in Mario. So if you have that, it's always kind of one block up, isn't it? Never a half block.
Yeah.
I would love like some Ascension.
Has somebody made a cool sliding level?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's too
That would be cool
hard.
with this.
You know when you crouch on a slope, you can just slide down?
Slide the
Has
whole
anybody
way.
made a really cool sliding?
Slopes aren't in Mario Maker yet,
Oh,
unfortunately.
but are they going to come to it maybe? Because they release,
I don't
and this is
know.
another interesting thing as well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Nintendo, I guess it's DLC in a way, isn't it? Free DLC, they release new editions.
Yeah.
How, is it on a semi-regular basis?
Recently they did add the update for Super Mario Maker, which added the checkpoint flags,
Right, yeah.
Best edition ever.
which are great, and as well as the ability to make a fire flower into a tiered power-up. So
Right,
it's a mushroom
okay.
If you're
Yeah.
small Mario or a fire flower, which is a really good way of, as I said earlier, my fifth rule of rewarding skilled players.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if you can get through this area with your power mushroom intact, have a fire flower.
Yeah.
If you can't, then you have a power mushroom to
Okay.
help you out. But
Well, you must have Shigsy's here. You can have a word, can't you? Just say, put some slopes in the game. I'd love that.
a lot of a lot of people, it's a regular comment we see on Facebook and on Twitter.
Yeah.
Saying, please give us slows, but not sure if anything's being done about it.
One day.
We are almost out of time. Should we let Martin have a go?
I think this is a cool challenge right now because we've kept the saws in, we've got the sliding floor. Might be too many big moles.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Are there enough moles? Monty moles?
Do we want more or less?
No, there aren't enough.
Oh, somebody's making an interesting point. I'm going to... 1 second.
If you can, try and put them in the pipe, but maybe try and make it more challenging.
Make it more challenging.
More challenging? What is it you wanted them to do with the pipe?
Just make it more challenging.
Just make it more challenging.
I think it looks pretty difficult as it is.
I like a challenge. You like a challenge?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Bit nervous now.
Not after 40 videos of it, though. There's hours.
Let's see.
Oh. I know exactly what that is.
There are actually a few secrets in this level. If I had more time, I would probably consider adding a secret in this area that you needed the power mushroom to get, to reward you for getting that far with the power mushroom intact. Because as I say, I'm a big believer in rewarding skilled players.
Are we ready to rock?
But let's play
Are we going from
the level
the start
as
or
it
from
is.
the checkpoint?
Go from the start.
From
Let's
the
get the
start?
whole level.
Okay.
Also, see if you can find the cape.
Let me turn myself back on.
I guess
Minus.
whilst Littlewood plays, if you want to talk us through your thoughts, basically, as we go along, that'd be really interesting.
Then we need to be
There you go.
Your inspiration.
Okay.
All right,
So,
from
here we
the
go.
start.
Let's say initially, this is it's an interesting thing. I deliberately put that question mark above ice, so that as the player jumps down, they go, sweet, I'm going to get this question mark block, then they're going to slip. So instantly, the player is going to get the feel of those ice blocks,
Clever.
like without even realizing it.
Sure.
This part deliberately pushes you through because, again, I wanted the player
What's in
to.
there? Oh, fire flower.
I wanted the player to feel the ice blocks and how the momentum.
You're setting the
goes.
tone.
Here, if you were fast enough there, you would have got to that pipe. Unfortunately, you
I see.
you weren't good enough, Martin.
Oh, I wasn't good enough.
Ah.
Lonely. I'm trying my best.
So that's a little secret for players that manage to get all the way through. Here, I do need to tweak this, admittedly, because those moles got stuck. So I should delete this block. This is why we playtest, obviously.
Hold on a minute.
So that challenge was meant to introduce how the moles move on ice. So here, you have to skid under another mole just to give you something to think about.
Oh. There we go.
But then introduce the buzz saws.
Oh, dear.
No.
How do they work?
That's
How do they
upsetting.
function?
Oh, whoa, where am I going?
Oh, wow.
We've got a mole issue in the top left as well.
Oh, that was a power mushroom. However, I realized I was being too generous because a lot of players
Can I have a go?
could have just hit
Yeah, go for it.
Is that all
could have just
right?
hit the saw and
I'd
run
love a go.
through.
There we go. I did that first time last time. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's because I was scared of what was to come.
You've thrown the gauntlet down now, Darren. You know that, don't you?
I might aim for this secret as well, so I need to jump, yeah?
Yeah. I think as long as you jump at any point during that, you should be okay. Oh. Nice. Oh,
Nice.
good. And then don't let yourself fall off the air.
Get up the pipe.
Not
Get
gonna
up the pipe.
undo
It
any
actually
work.
takes you to an area that people saw slightly earlier. It's the happy.
Oh,
smile.
party time. Disco ball, lights, spotlights. Oh, no. Oh, no. You partied too hard. Oh.
Okay, you saw he was there.
Sadly, that is all
That was
we've
a
got
rotten
time
trick.
for.
A rotten trick.
Guys, give it up for James, Nintendo UK,
Thank you very much.
and in the Littlewood as well. Thank you very much for watching our masterclass. I hope you've learned something. Can people download this level?
Well, we have just finished it. I will.
Go on.
I'll tweak those little bits and then we'll get it uploaded and we'll put it out on the Super Mario Facebook page this week.
Yeah,
for you
we'll
guys,
call it- we'll
And
call
I'll
it-
send it to you.
Yeah, I'll
and
play it as
you
well.
can
I'll
play
see
it
the
and
done
conquer
version.
it.
I like
Good,
it.
Good.
So, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Go out and make Mario levels. Feel free.
We're back
Enjoy.
in about half an hour with some Minecraft parkour on this
Yep.
stage.
Certainly are.
You're back, aren't you, as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Everybody.
Cheers, guys.